Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. Today, it's the original crew, episode 1 crew. We got Kyo and myself. How's it going, GoPro?
It's good. It's going.
Early morning recording for Kyo, and it's a 12 lunchtime recording for me. But today we got a very exciting topic. We are going to be talking about Trigun Badlands Rumble, the Trigun movie that, from my research, takes place between episode 10 and 12 of Trigun. And there's so many things about this movie that I want to get into. But, as always, let's just start from your general thoughts and impressions on the movie, Kyo. Go ahead.
So I think it's a good movie. I don't have any particular issues with it.
Right.
It's pretty much just one of those... It's one of those, like, supposedly inconsequential anime movies, like most franchise movies, like the Naruto movies or the Dragon Ball movies that kind of take place in a certain part of the timeline, but they're technically not canon usually. But in the case of this one, I think this one is supposed to be canon.
Oh, really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Mainly, I think it's because Yasuhiro Naitao worked on the story for this one, so I assume that like part of that is that's why I assume like part of it is like canon or something. But like that's the only thing I have to go off of. I believe he was part of the writing team, or at least he was part of the producing team, so I know he was definitely directly involved with it.
On AnimeStackExchange.com, according to this Anime News Network review, Badlands Rumble, is canon and occurs between episodes 9 and 10 after Vash has met Wolfwood, but before Legato closes in. Right, okay. That makes sense in the timeline, and I mean, in Anime News Network is a huge, very reputable source. So, I mean, that's cool that it's canon. To me, the thing, I mean, this little blurb on Google mentions a character, and I just kind of want to get this one out of the way.
Okay.
What was Wolfwood up to in this movie? Because, like, I know we're all for hire here, but you're working with the enemy and then you're working against the enemy. I just felt like his character was kind of placed in random bits. He felt like a bit of a fill-in to me. What were your thoughts on Wolfwood?
I think it makes sense. I mean, like the whole point of Wolfwood as a character is that he's supposed to be Vash's, or in some cases he's Vash's rival or his opposite. But at the same time, like they're kind of two sides of the same coin, or more so like they're just slightly different from each other. They both have like sort of a strange moral standard that they hold themselves to. But like the difference is that like Vash has qualms about killing people, and Wolfwood doesn't. So like
at all.
Yeah. That the whole point of Wolfwood is that he's supposed to be he's supposed to clash with Vash's ideals, but at the same time, the stranger part of it is that he's supposed to be a priest, and as a priest, like part of the part of your what's the word? Part of your code is to not commit any of the 10 or commit against the 10 commandments, basically. So,
right.
But anyways, in terms of his role in the movie, it does seem a little shoehorned in on one hand, but on the other hand, I think it kind of fits into the story naturally. Like, I think the idea of like Wolfwood pretty much just becoming a gun for hire for a short point, it kind of makes sense because, like, if you think about it, one of the episodes where he first shows up, or I think like the second episode that he shows up in, is like he's helping this lady who owns a restaurant, and it's entirely by happenstance. So if you look at it that way, it's kind of just another one of those situations that he gets himself into, and then that kind of helps progress the story a little bit.
Right. No, I see what you mean. Like, the other thing to me, too, like jumping away from Wolfwood here.
Yeah.
For Vash, I had not seen Vash in action since 2016, 2017 when I watched the original series, and the last time I saw him was like Vash versus Knives, and to me, I just felt so good. I was like so happy to see him. I'm like, oh, this guy's back. This guy's back for an hour and a half on my screen. And I'm so happy about this because he has this like charm to him and he has this charisma. And I love how in the first scene of the movie, we're set 20 years back and the first thing you hear of him is like, "Hey, my donut, like my donut." And I'm like, that's that childish nature of his, and it just comes back in. And why does he always get caught in these awkward situations in the intro? Because like on the was it the boat scene too, where he's kind of like, "Oh, sorry, I just wanted to get something. I'm sorry for bothering. Like, my bad. Like, even though you're the humanoid typhoon and you're super wanted, and what is it, $60 million double dollars or something?"
Yeah,
you know. So, what were your thoughts on that overall?
Just seeing him back.
Yeah, man. Like, because for you it was a rewatch. This was my first watch.
Yeah. Well, so I was actually following this movie as it was coming out. So like Funimation was doing a lot of clips that they were showing of the movie. Like they were posting it on their YouTube channel. They were promoting the hell out of the movie when it was coming out. There was like it had a limited run in American theaters for a little while, which is really cool. They even brought back, like, I think most of the cast came back, or at least like 2 out of the 4 main characters, that being Vash and Millie, I believe, came back. I don't think Murel and Wolfwood's voice actors came back. I know for a fact Wolfwood's didn't come back, but I would have to look I'd have to look a little deeper into like which ones didn't come back. But anyway, for me overall, like I was really excited for this movie when I first saw that it was coming out. I was like, holy crap, I'm get to see one of my favorite shows in like modern animation, because like the original series, luckily it's by the same studio that did the show, Studio Madhouse.
Right, Madhouse.
So like they did the show back in the 90s, and it's still the show's animation still holds up really well, but it just kind of suffers from like how cell animation just doesn't look as clean as computer animation does nowadays, or at least like computer 2D animation used on computer software, I should say. But yeah, like for me, I was really excited to see it. I knew that it was like one of those anime movies, and anime movies to me kind of have like this reputation of like not mattering in the end. But if all you're doing is going to see a movie that just has your favorite characters in it just to watch it again, and for me it's a really simple movie, and it's kind of a turn your brain off kind of movie. You don't have to think too hard about it. There's a little bit of there is a bit of a story arc going, but it doesn't it doesn't bear on the original like story arc from the original show. And I think that's kind of the strength of the movie, is that it doesn't have to connect to the show, but it still carries the spirit of the show, is what's the most important about it. And it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see that charm and that essence come out in a newly animated film. And I don't know if I would say nostalgia. I guess nostalgia definitely plays a factor in it, but I would say there's just kind of a magical feeling to seeing like a Cowboy Bebop came out with a new movie like this year, and it was animated just in a more clean style. Like I think everybody would be just as happy to see that sort of thing. Like even if it
I see what you mean, but I do want to comment. I do want to comment on when you say the spirit, and it's good to see it in a new animation format for sure, and it breathes new life into the series for me.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
For me, the two elements that brought new life were Gaspac and Amelia, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Amelia and Gaspac are movie only, right?
Yeah, so they're one of those characters that like come in just for the movie, and
yeah,
like you said, they do kind of breathe new life into it. And I like Gaspac as an antagonist. I think he's a really interesting.
Oh my god,
character.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, for me, this guy is kind of like I don't know why, but I got mean person vibes from him. I don't know how else to put it, but you know what I mean? Just like, hey, you want to betray me? I thought we were on the same team. You know what? We're going to roll the dice, and he just like wants to destroy. And the thing with him too is very deadly, very, very mean, does not care about what he leaves behind, and you see that he's not very well appreciated by his peers in that first scene where he literally gets betrayed by them. And to me, the fact that Vash saves him didn't make sense to me, because I was like, why would you? I get it. It's Vash. Vash is like, I don't want anyone to be hurt. I'm like, but him? But him, like that's included, you know? And I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And also, I think that Gaspak's like his number one thing as a villain is his vengeance, you know, wanting to just 20 years later, he wants to come back and just like steal everything and take everything apart. And, you know, like spoiler alert here, I think he's Amelia's dad is what I understood.
Yeah.
Wow, that threw me out for a loop, honestly. Like that too, like that little like that bond between the two characters. So that's what, honestly, in general, those were my thoughts on Gaspak. What about you?
I don't know if I would say he's oafish. I would say I actually think he's kind of a sophisticate kind of character, or at least he has a very clear philosophy. He has this idea that
maybe like one track minded would be a better way to put it.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think his his character is kind of based on thrill, and to him the thrill is like seeing is kind of seeing the despair on people's faces when he steals things. So like to him, like stealing something is not worth it if you don't get to see the reaction of somebody who's lost something. So there's kind of a sadism to it. And it's just kind of interesting that like not only is he a kind of a sadistic person, but he's also very vengeful, as you said. And I think the most the thing that kind of holds the whole story together is that the entire movie is just revenge, and it's literally him just getting revenge on his three gang members that turned against him, and it's kind of an Ocean's 11 sort of thing, or the Italian Job.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by Ocean's 11? I don't know that.
Well, the whole thing, or they're heist movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
So like it's not like sneaky or espionage-esque. It's a lot more bombastic, I think is a good way to say it.
Bombastic?
Yeah.
I mean, the bar fight was bombastic.
Oh yeah, there's the whole movie is kind of a spectacle film, and that's the kind of thing that I miss in anime movies, is that like not a lot of them have as much spectacle as they used to. There is a spectacle aspect to some of these movies, but like in the case of like this movie, I think the spectacle is on the set pieces and the big scenes. One of my favorite scenes is literally Gaspak getting to the city that is filled with bounty hunters that are all trying to gun him down. And it's kind of a similar situation Vash could have been in if like roles had been reversed, or if people knew that or if that Vash was Vash. But the fun of it is kind of seeing this guy mow everybody down just to get like two things. Like one, to get the plant, basically the town power supply, and this statue that is one of his old gang members, and it's entirely fueled by a need to just get even with them. And it's kind of like the simplicity of it is what makes it so fun, and the just the fact that he's doing all of it just because like something didn't go his way and they just turned their back on him, and it's just fun. It's just funny to think that he does all of this just to get back at them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of petty, to be honest.
It is petty, but it's also kind of funny how he goes all the way, and he knows like just the things to do to ruin the lives of these guys who betrayed him years and years ago, because now his henchmen have taken the money from the robbery that he orchestrated and he was so proud of, and then he's turning that around and ruining, and basically he's trying to give them a taste of their own medicine in the sense that he wants to show them the same kind of pain that he felt when they betrayed him, or more so just the disgrace that he felt when they ruined the robbery, because part of the thrill for him is to basically all he does is rob people, and he pours all his money into the next robbery, and that's he kind of has a cycle to it, and that's part of what just makes Gaspak such an interesting character.
Right. Maybe shifting more towards Amelia, to me, she felt like a strong support character and strong lead character as well, because she does definitely take on a chunk of the story herself. You know, when she first meets Vash on those, I'm seeing here on the wiki, sand steamer is what it's called. apparently. They go over to Maka City and everything, and then we see in her dream that her mother's death is related to Gasback, and she tries to kill Gasback, and then Vash interferes, and then she's like, "Oh, it's your fault, Vash. My mother you were in cahoots with him. My mother's death is on you. And at that last duel, when she reveals herself as Gasback's daughter, I think that Vash's way of don't do it, don't take his life, it's not worth it, is adopted by her. And so she does have this growth as a character throughout the movie, which is great because she's pretty cold at the beginning, but she, you can see her heart develop throughout it. So I loved her character growth and just her character. She was well placed in the movie. She was well defined. What were your thoughts on Amelia?
I think Amelia was a good addition. I don't know if I would say that she would have that much staying power if she were added to the show. But for the movie, I think she's a really good character. I think her arc has a nice beginning, middle, and end. I'm a little bothered by the so if you guys didn't already know, this is gonna be spoiler heavy.
Yeah, guys, like, we're reviewing the movie. Like, what do you expect? You I'm sorry if you got spoiled at this point. I should have said that at the beginning, but it is what it is.
I mean, we're gonna go over the movie and just by proxy, we're gonna go over the show a little bit too.
Yeah, we are, and by proxy, we're currently doing it. So I understand what you mean.
Anyway, there's a point in the movie where you think Vash gets killed, and I thought that was a very strange middle arc. It's not. I think like the dialogue could have been fleshed out a little bit better. There's not a whole lot of scenes where him and Amelia connect necessarily, I think, or Vash and Amelia connect properly, because a majority of the time it's just Vash like trying to schmooze her, and it's his usual. He's using like a mix of being a dork and also being a bit of a sort of a poet in some sense. But it all comes off as very dorky, but at the same time, it's carried by the actor's charisma. The actors Johnny Young Bosch is a really, really good actor. He's played Vash for a long time, and he played him in the original series, and he's come back to play him, so he still has like he understands the depth of Vash's character. But as far as the middle arc where Vash dies, quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote.
I don't know. It didn't seem to connect with me. It's hard to explain because like she's upset that he got killed by defending Gasback, and I think that's the part that's bothering her the most. It's really hard to read for me. Like I think that's the part that
I think you got it right though.
Yeah,
I think you got it right with that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I hope I made it as clear as I possibly can.
No, it made sense to me.
Yeah, like that's really I think that's the biggest issue with the movie that I have is just like the death fake out. But if you haven't seen the show Trigun, I think it's okay to see the movie like by itself first and then watch the show.
No, absolutely. I think it stands on. I agree with that. I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So other talking points we had, because I think we're kind of blazing through these, to be completely honest. Okay, so let's talk about the bar fight. I want to talk about the bar fights and then the fights in general, but specifically one thing about the bar fight. How did Vash, this is strictly for me. Like, I did not understand this. Like, I paused, I rewatched, I paused, I rewatched. Made no sense. Still doesn't make sense. Hoping you can give me an answer. How did Vash get all those bullets? Because everyone's about to fire at each other, and it's like, huh? Next thing you know, homie's under a table, like holding, like as if he was holding a baby with his arms. It's just all of the bullets, like every single one. What? Like, is he just that fast? Is that it?
No. Like, there's a point you can see him like he's crawling around on all fours underneath the tables and everything. That's the point where he's grabbing the that's the part where like he's grabbing all the bullets.
But that was fast, regardless. I just like.
But yeah, Vash is fast. He's not human.
But that's fast. Like that's.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know he was that fast.
He's an anime
no
character.
sense.
Of course he's fast.
No, but like that's like plot armor fast.
Well, apparently he doesn't have plot armor. He has bantha meat or whatever that, or Thomas meat in his chest.
Bantha meat or armor. I'm just saying that made. I was like, I was so confused.
Yeah, he's a plot bender.
Plot bender. I love it. Avatar the plot bender.
Yes. Vash.
Oh
the
my
plot
god.
bender.
Okay. Exactly. But okay. What were your thoughts? Like, okay, the fights for me were so epic. I loved every single one of them. Trigun is on point with the fights. Not that you cannot like take that away. Like the gunfights, like honestly, that and Cowboy Bebop, like some of the best gunfights I've seen in any of anime. And I would venture to say that Trigun, maybe recency bias because I just watched the movie, but Trigun takes the cake in my opinion at the moment in my mind. So, what were your thoughts on all the fights and everything in the action portion of the movie?
Well, like, so Madhouse has like a really extensive list of like doing like anime and movies with a lot of gun stuff. So like they did Black Lagoon, High School of the Dead, Devil May Cry, Vampire Hunter, Gungrave, which is another series made by Yasuhiro Naito. But they are really good at gunplay scenes. They're really good at action. Like one of their, I believe they also did Hellsing at some point. But like that's one of the things that they're best at is just action oriented stuff is really, really one of their strong points. And for me, I think in terms of the movie's action is amazing. Like I said, one of my favorite scenes is the point when Gasback arrives at the city and he just blazes his way through the town with tons and tons of bounty hunters, and he's literally like an unstoppable force for that entire scene. And it is such a rush, especially if you're like waiting for the point for Vash to show up, which, by the way, I think my favorite scene overall is literally just the final duel, because it reminds me of my favorite episode from Trigun, which is episode 4, which is the episode where Vash finally draws his gun and finally starts in an actual showdown.
Was that the Nebraska Brothers, or am I just remembering
Nebraska Brothers? Yeah.
Yeah, that was that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I remember this.
Or no, not Nebraska Brothers, Nebraska Family, but close enough.
Close enough. Okay, yeah. It's only been 6 years.
Yeah, you're good. It's the same thing. It's whatever.
Yeah. No, right on. To me, like I basically said my thoughts, but the final fight was so good. But I mean, the best Trigun fight, in my opinion, will always be Knives versus Vash.
I can't blame you. There's a lot of good fights to pick from in the original series. Like there is so much. Like that. I think the important thing is that like every fight scene, or like all the major fight scenes they all happen because they're very much intertwined with the story, and each character feeds into their fight scene and their fighting style, and it's very representative of their characters and their stance on why they're fighting and why the fight is happening in the first place. It all like every fight scene makes sense in context, and it's also cool like out of context. Like that's the best way I can describe it.
No, I understand what you mean. Okay. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Okay, basically that's all the points I had before because I did want to talk about the new Trigun stuff that's happening in 2022. But before we do, you're a big trivia nerd. I found a piece of trivia here I want to just kind of read out. I kind of got into it, but if you have like any random trivia thoughts you want to get into, I would love to to nerd out with you about that. But so basically, the trivia I found on the Trigun Badlands Rumble Wikipedia page was saying it has been stated that Badlands Rumble takes place sometime between episodes 10 and 12 of the original 1998 anime. That way, there would not be any story continuity issues. It is not based on events from either the manga or anime, making it an original story influenced by the support of Western audiences. There is a second half to the Badlands Rumble's events, published in Trigun Multiple Bullets, written and illustrated by Yasuhiro Naito. So, very cool.
So there's like a spin-off manga
Naito
or something?
Yeah, apparently there's a continuation in one of the mangas, which is nice.
Oh, okay. That I did not know, actually.
Same. Just found out as I was reading it.
I mean, funny you bring it up because like one of the things that I was doing after, like while I was watching the movie, was like I was actually checking Amazon to see if I could find the Trigun mangas.
Oh man, I've been putting too much money into anime stuff, man. But yeah,
I saw the wall art that you just put up recently.
Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
Oh, there's some pretty pictures.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, when I saw your comment, like GoProkyo approval, I was like, yes, I did it right. But,
every anime nerd needs at least like one Totoro related thing in their house. So, I mean, I've got the plushie and I've got that tiny little one with the umbrella. So.
Yeah, fair enough. But I wanted to. But before we did you have any trivia things or anything that you noticed about the movie that you wanted to like splice in there?
I don't know if this is really trivia, but I do want to kind of tell you a story about how
please
how I first watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting on the movie to come out, and I knew I wouldn't see it in theaters because it was out in Seattle, and I was like 15, 16 at the time. I didn't have a car, and I was not going to be able to drive all the way down to Seattle just to see the movie. But
back in the $2 for $2.50 at McDonald's days, I remember those days.
Yeah, exactly. it was before. Actually, it was before that. Believe it or not, it was during high school.
Oh,
when it came out.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, so prior to that, I had bought. So I think like two or so years beforehand, I had bought my my Vash plush toy that I have. I don't know if I've shown it to you, but it's one of my prized possessions. It's part of my plush collection.
Yeah.
So when I found the movie, I own the DVD, by the way. I found the movie when I was at taking a mall trip with my family. So like I think we were out at like the Alderwood Mall or something. And I picked up, and we were at a video store, and I saw the movie, and it was like, oh my God, I've been waiting to get this. So I am so lucky that I had like $20-$30 on me. So like I just bought the movie, and the very night that I got there, I plugged it into the computer. I grabbed the Vash plushie, made some popcorn, and I sat in front of my computer and watched it. That was my first experience watching the movie. And I did watch it again after that, by the way.
Right.
That's the only trivia I have for you on this one. There's not a whole lot about this movie that I know. I just know that it was produced by Yasuhiro Naito, the original manga author, and I do wonder like why they changed his outfit for this movie. I guess it was just like a promotional thing, just to like show that it was part of the movie or something. I don't know. Right. That's the only thing I can think of. Oh, and his gun is different for some reason.
I mean, the budget, maybe.
I highly doubt that, because they show the regular design in the first 10-15 minutes of the movie.
That's true. Man, I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I'm not sure.
I think it's just like a thing to show like, oh, this is the movie outfit or something, because they did release like I think they released some like exclusive statues for it at the time or something.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap things up on this. Let's wrap things up on this topic, because we're still here. We're still going to be podcasting.
We still got some stuff to talk about.
But final thoughts for me. I mean, great movie. I give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'm very happy with it. And I knew this was going to be an eventual podcast topic. It just had to be spoken about. And with the 2023 news that we got, great way to like warm up to this. So, Kyo, go ahead. What are your final thoughts?
Really good movie. If you guys haven't seen Trigun before, and if you still haven't seen it after the 5 or 6 times that we recommended it, you can start with the movie if you want to. The movie's just like an hour and a half. It's a good hour and a half. It's a really good, entertaining movie. If that doesn't grab you, then I say definitely watch just the first episode, because the first episode is actually really good at hooking you into the story. Anyway, overall, the movie is a really good watch. If you haven't seen the show, it's good. If you have seen the show, it's just it's a good standalone, and it's also a good additive, if you will, if you have seen the show. So if you're a fan of the show, you'll definitely love the movie.
Perfect. Okay, Kiel.
Yeah.
Kiel, we got a trailer. I don't want to do like a whole anime podcast breakdown here.
No.
But like let's just kind of talk about Trigun Stampede.
Yeah.
Scheduled to come out in 2023. The My Anime List page has very little information. We know the genre: action, adventure, comedy, drama, sci-fi. You know, it's gonna be 13 and up. Millions is coming back. Millions Knives, sorry, is coming back. Rem is coming back. Vash is coming back. The trailer has a whole new animation, a whole new look. Man, what are your thoughts on this? Because I think the people want to know your thoughts definitely on this, because you're the resident podcast Trigun nerd. What were your thoughts on all of this? Tell me about your excitement, nerd out and explode.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a little bit when I saw that they're bringing it back. So like, I saw the trailer and I could not have been happier to see a new Trigun project in this day and age. I honestly thought so. Like with the way the fandom is at this point, it's kind of pretty much everybody who's ever like been a fan of Trigun. It's kind of a small fandom. It's not that big. It's kind of just a few, like, couple hundred people that I know of. I hear a lot of people who were there when it came out were really happy with it. They liked the show a lot. It was like out on Toonami way back in the day. And a lot of people really seem to like it. And in my opinion, I think it's one of the better anime to have come out at the time. And but anyway, in terms of the trailer looks so fucking good. Excuse my language, I'm so sorry, but I am just so excited for it. So like I'm partially confused as to why they went with what's the word? They went with CGI for this one, but it is being made by the same studio that made Beastars, and if it's the studio that made Beastars, that's
I love Beastars.
Yeah.
Gotta get on that second season. I haven't seen the second season.
Oh, is it out or is it not?
Yeah. Second season's been out for a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's been out. Yeah. I saw it like months ago at this point, maybe a year. It's been out for a good chunk of time. But no, for sure. The CGI thing threw me off at first, but it made sense after watching the trailer. Like, it's like that first initial, what?
Well, yeah, like we all kind of
CGI,
have...
what?
Yeah. Well, anime fans kind of just have this aversion to CGI just in general. But, I mean, like, if you think about it, like, you've got the Berserk anime that nobody liked. You've got, like, occasional CGI that shows up in 2D animated shows, and nobody ever seems to be okay with it. I mean, I'm in the camp that's kind of in between, where I'm just like, I kind of understand, like, it's hard to draw some of those more complicated things that they add in there, but it still is really jarring. But on the other hand, it's still really jarring when the style just doesn't really mesh. I think like Berserk is a perfect example of that. The 2016 Berserk, I think it is. It just doesn't look right, and especially like if you're doing something in 2D and then you add in a 3D asset, it's going to stand out more than anything else. But there are some projects where like CGI and 3D can come together really nicely, and I think in the case of the way the new project looks, one, it's being made by a company that already proved that they know how to use CGI properly, especially in Japan. So like, Japan doesn't seem to like CGI, or at least it doesn't seem to like CGI anime, I guess is the word for it. But the projects that have done so super well are Beastars and the that new Lupin movie that came out a couple years ago, and it looks really good, and it's really well animated. Yeah, have you seen the movie yet?
Yeah. I saw it like on my timeline. I haven't watched it, but I seen the original Lupin. That's another great one. Yeah, that we can definitely do a podcast. There's so many good things out there, man.
Yeah. The thing is, like, there's a lot of good CG anime stuff out there. It's just like anime fans just don't seem to like it, because like when you grow up and you see like a lot of like badly used tools in, or like what's a better word for it? If you see something like being badly used and just it never seems to improve, you kind of just grow to kind of hate it a little bit. But with the way Beastars did, and it's the same studio that did Beastars, I have a feeling it's going to come off a lot better. I have been seeing a lot of people disliking the designs more than the fact that it's CGI, which
I'm seeing mixed reviews here. I'm like going on like the Crunchyroll collection. The video has a 1.2 almost million views as we were recording this, and people are, I don't know how I feel about this. The old style felt perfectly. This looks absolutely sick. No, it's 50.
It is very like split down the middle. It's kind of a like it or hate it situation. I'm on the like it side. I completely understand why some people just won't like it that much. I did see a lot of discourse on just the design, like for Vash. So like, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, one, you need to go see it and get hyped. Two, his design has changed pretty drastically. So like the spiky mohawk hair is gone. It's kind of folded down, and now there's an undercut, which as of late, in the artist community, I've heard a lot of people don't like the undercut look or like the side cut sort of. Not specifically on Vash, but just in general, some people seem to have an aversion to it because it's such a frequently used haircut nowadays.
Right.
But personally, I think it looks good. I like the new design. I will say the design that I like the least in the trailer that I've seen so far is the new gun.
Yeah.
I think the gun looks stupid.
I mean, with time we'll see if I don't know.
I'm not gonna not watch the show or movie.
I don't like the gun. I'm not watching this movie. I'm not watching this movie. I don't like the gun.
That's not what I'm not gonna not watch it just because of that.
No, I know. But okay, fair enough. We're kind of hitting the time limits here, so let's wrap things up here. Yeah, I'm excited. 2023 is a good year for anime. 2022 is a good year for anime. Every year is a good year for anime. If you enjoyed this episode of Anime Podcasters, make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher. You can find all of our links over on anchor.fm/anime podcasters. Our social media is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We're at Anime Podcasters on all of them. You subscribe to the YouTube channel for video versions of the podcast over on youtube.com/Jaian Music. We drop 2 episodes a month. Next episode, we're coming back with probably Hotshot and Murel going to be on, so that's going to be fun. And for myself, I am at Jaian Music on social media. JaianMusic.com is my website, and I cover anime music, and I've covered some 1 or 2 Trigun songs, so go subscribe to my channel if you like anime music and anime podcasts. Kyo, the artist for the podcast, of course, he's amazing at what he does, and I'm going to let him plug himself because I'm so used to plugging you when you're not here.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GoProkyo. You guys can also find my website, CC Art Portal, at wix.com. If you guys want to hire me, my information is on my page. You guys can also go to my Linktree, and my Linktree has all my links to it. It should be on my Twitter. And that's Kyo.
Perfect. So for myself and Kyo, this has been another humanoid typhoon-like episode of
Anime Podcasters.
Well, Kyo, Kyo, you still there?
Yeah.
You still there, Kyo? Man, I can't aim. Bye, guys.
Bye.